From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at Noon, streaming now.
And it is a beautiful Friday as we look ahead to our weekend. The Colts are out there on the canal dyeing it blue as we kick off the Colts home opener this Sunday, welcoming the Vikings to town. So we'll have more on that game and what fans can expect coming up. You can see Blue is out there masked up and everything, as well as some of the cheerleaders and others from the Colts organization. It is a beautiful day, as I said, a little breezy out there, very fall-like. So this midday, let's toss things over to Todd Clausen at home. Todd, I was just outside. It is nice out there, but you're going to want a little light jacket. It's actually a little chilly out there.
You know, I think you're definitely going to need the jacket here with that breeze that you mentioned, Lauren. You can kind of see the tent air and Blue's hair blowing in that picture on the canal. And that northeast wind is going to make these temperatures actually feel even a little bit cooler than they are. Now, the good news is we have sunshine out there. It's a beautiful day as far as that goes. Just a few fair weather clouds as you look to the north. But yesterday with the sunshine, we got all the way up into the 80-degree range. Well, today the sunshine is not going to warm us all that much because we have that northeasterly wind. In fact, at this noon hour, it's still only 57 in Peru, 62 in Indianapolis, 65 is the current temperature down there in Bloomington. And those temperatures aren't really going to go much more in an upward direction throughout the afternoon hours. But again, it's a quiet weather pattern as we expand out. There's really nothing going on across the area. So high pressure will firmly be in control. So this afternoon, temperatures top off right around 65 degrees. This evening, if you're heading to high school football or any other activity this evening, make sure you have the jacket. As soon as the sun sets, we're going down into the 50s and then into the 30s and 40s by tomorrow morning. A frost advisory is actually in place from Monticello to Peru to Marion, over to Hartford City and in the Portland area. We'll talk about how low the temperatures are going to go tonight and also look ahead to your weekend forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. New this midday, one person is dead, two others hurt in a shooting that happened near the campus of Indiana State University. Terre Haute police say that this happened just after 1:30 this morning at what investigators believe was a college house party at South 6th and Poplar Streets. That's just a few blocks south of the ISU campus. One person died at the scene while two others suffered injuries that are not life-threatening. Police have not released any other information yet about a possible suspect. And also new today, the city of Carmel's website remains down after it was hacked. A statement from the city says around 8 o'clock this morning, the city's IT department found that the front page of the website had been replaced by this. The message on the site said, hacked by Iranian hackers. It featured an image of the former Iranian general Qasem Soleimani, who was killed in January by a U.S. drone. The city says the site was immediately taken down, and they say they're working to find out what happened and how they can restore the site as soon as possible. Police in Plainfield are still searching for the suspect who stole a pickup truck with that 6-month-old baby girl inside. The suspect later abandoned the truck and the baby was not harmed. That 6-month-old is safe with her parents, thanks in part to an alert neighbor. Danielle Massing happened to be on Facebook shortly after the pickup truck with the infant inside was stolen from the Plainfield gas station. Massing lives on the west side of Indianapolis, and she was stunned when she got that Amber Alert and looked out her window.
I see posts from friends missing 6-month-old in a white Silverado truck, and I'm like, okay, so I shared it, and I happened to be looking out my window from my couch, and I'm staring at a white truck.
Wow, well, Plainfield police are still looking for that suspect who stole the truck. They say he's described as a white male with a gray beard, and he was wearing a white shirt at the time of the theft. New from WRTV investigates, two high school administrators out in Hendricks County are pushing back after they were fired this week. The Northwest Hendricks School Board voted on Wednesday to fire husband and wife Stacy and Nathan Bagley. Stacy was the dean of students at Tri-West High School, while Nathan was the school's athletic director. WRTV investigates Kara Kenny uncovered the sexual misconduct allegations against former Tri-West teacher and coach Tyler Bruce. The Bagleys now face criminal charges of failing to report the allegations against Bruce to police. Now today, the attorney for the Bagleys issued a statement on their firing. They accused the school district of making them scapegoats in this case. Their statement accuses the district officials of ignoring the fact that several other school officials, as well as two law enforcement agents with the Hendricks County Sheriff's Department, had the same information as the Bagleys. The statement also goes on to say and accuses the district and the school of failing to properly train administrators on the state's reporting requirements requirements. You can read their full statement to WRTV Investigates. Right now, it's inside this story. Just go to WRTV.com. Taking a turn now to the new COVID-19 numbers just in from the State Department of Health. For the first time since the weekend, new cases topped the 1,000 mark. 1,499 additional Hoosiers testing positive. 17 additional deaths were reported today. The health department says one reason for this increase was a new onboarded lab and corrections to a previous lab reporting error. New this midday, for the first time this year, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is going to welcome race fans for live racing. Today, IMS announced that up to 10,000 spectators will be allowed each day inside the track for the IndyCar Harvest GP weekend that runs October 1st through the 4th. IMS, of course, ran the Indy 500 and the Brickyard 400 this year with no fans due to the pandemic. But with COVID-19 rates slowly improving in Marion County, the Speedway got the approval of the Marion County Public Health Department to host fans for the racing triple header. Here are the rules for those days. If you want to attend, fans will be divided into groups of up to 5,000 each in the spectator zones located on turn 1 and turn 4 of the track. Face masks will be required. Fans will be given a mask if they don't have one. Seats in the grandstand will be socially distant, and fans must also enter through a pre-assigned gate, and they must remain in their designated zones. The IMS announcement comes just a day after we found out that the Colts will host up to 7,500 fans for their September 27th home game against the Jets. That's 3 times the number of fans that will be allowed for this Sunday's home opener against the Vikings here at Lucas Oil Stadium. Single game tickets for the Jets game went on sale this morning, but if you go, you should be prepared to wear a mask and sit in a pod arrangement. That means that if you bought your tickets with a group of people, you will all sit together, but then your group will be socially distant from other groups in the stands. Colts also expect you to play by the rules.
One thing that we're going to have on the way in are temperature checks and questionnaires, just like a lot of people have done at a lot of other locations around the city and state and country. So there'll be temperature checks. Again, this is the first time that we've been through these protocols, so I think it would be good for people to come early. Even though there's only 2,500 fans in the building, we're going to need every single person who's in the building to be a team player and to follow these rules diligently.
Tickets will be mobile only, and cashless transactions will only be allowed at the concession stands and gift shops. Also, tailgating is not going to be allowed in the stadium parking lots. So they say they are tired of businesses getting punished over masks. So coming up, a group of local lawmakers is trying to do something about it, plus the chances that they will succeed. Todd.
And Lauren, it's a beautiful day across central Indiana with lots of sunshine, low humidity, and a little bit of a breeze. The temperatures, though, very fall-like, and that's going to continue into the rest of your weekend forecast. We'll talk all about it coming up when the News at Noon continues right here on WRTV.
Welcome back. Republicans on the City County Council here in Indy are calling on the mayor's office to drop Marion County's mask mandate. Newly appointed council member Joshua Bain represents District 20. Bain is proposing a resolution that would let businesses decide their own mask policies. Last month, the Marion County Health Department announced that inspectors would start issuing $1,000 fines against businesses that had violators of the mask rules. Bain says he's not against masks, but he also says that people or businesses should not be punished with these violations.
The thing that I keep hearing from everyone down in my district is, why don't you trust us enough? You should trust us enough to implement and determine our own mask policy.
The issue is they may make it a personal decision, but how many people are working in a job that they can't lose?
Well, the resolution is likely not to pass because Democrats outnumber Republicans 20-5 on that council. Doctors say all we need to do is to get our flu shots early to prevent more health problems during the pandemic. Today, Indiana veterans can get those shots for free. This is happening on the west side of Indianapolis. A drive-through flu shot clinic for Hoosier vets has been set up on Shore Drive near 38th and Eagle Creek Parkway. You still have time to go if you haven't yet. Vaccines will be given until 2 o'clock this afternoon. You're asked to just bring your VA card and wear a short sleeve shirt. New patients should also contact Veteran Health Indiana to enroll. If you have any information, there's more available for you at WRTV.com. So we know it's a stressful time for a lot of people, and some groups are facing stress a little more than others. So next we'll show you how a Hoosier woman is going digital to help people manage that stress. And let's take a live look outside right now on this Friday. A view of the city skyline, blue skies up ahead, a fall-like feel out there, and Todd Clausen will tell you what you can expect as we head into the weekend. That's all coming up here on the News at Noon on WRTV. Stick around. Welcome back. In the midst of this pandemic, a woman is sharing her story about giving back to her community. She created a resource specifically for Black, Indigenous women of color to help them release some of the stress and trauma they're facing as this pandemic continues, and also as racial tensions remain high. Our Nicole Griffin has her story.
I would just sit in a puddle of tears, just feeling just a sense of hopelessness for the Black community.
In April, as she was quarantined at home with her family, life coach and entrepreneur Katara McCarty felt a need to do something to help.
In the midst of everything that was going on with COVID and how it was impacting the Black community disproportionately, and then all the viral videos started hitting our news feeds, it just felt so heavy for my community.
Grief, pain, fear, all feelings she felt as well. As the pandemic continued on and the deaths of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor made headlines, she decided to create an emotional well-being app called Exhale, specifically for women of color.
We have the regular stressors that everybody else has, but it's compounded when we go out into the world and face racism, we face anti-Blackness, we face microaggressions. And so the meditations speak directly to us and our needs.
During quarantine, McCarty and her daughters worked on the app together. Their voices can be heard throughout during coaching talks and breathing exercises.
Feel the gentle pull of gravity.
She says finally releasing the app feels like a full circle moment because in her eyes, she's giving back to women of color.
I was abandoned and two Black women took me in and raised me. It feels very divine. It feels very much like I'm giving back to the women that gave to me.
Whether a woman takes time to meditate using the Exhale app or just 15 minutes to go through breathing exercises, McCarty hopes it helps them release pain and trauma they face during everyday life.
The impact of the microaggressions, the impact of the racism, the impact of watching our news feed and seeing someone get murdered, right, by the hands of the police, like that is traumatic in itself. And so my hope is that Exhale becomes a resource for Black, Indigenous women of color to manage all of that we're holding, really holding our breath. I want us to exhale.
Working for you, Nicole Griffin, WRTV.
Nicole, thank you. Right now, all of the features on the Exhale app are free until the end of next month. McCarty says that she made the decision to open it up for free after watching an interview with Jacob Blake's mother and sister and seeing the pain and trauma they are facing. Taking a turn now, hiring Hoosiers, part of WRTV's commitment to helping you find work. If you're among the thousands who have lost their jobs during this pandemic, you want to be sure to join WRTV's Mark Mullins and the Indiana Black Expo for a free Zoom webinar on preparing for job interviews in a virtual environment. It's this Monday from noon until 2 p.m. presented by Cummins with tips on hiring Hoosiers partner Spherion Staffing. You can then put what you learned to use for our next virtual Hiring Hoosiers Employment Opportunity Fair. That starts at noon next Tuesday, September 22nd. That is also free. Companies looking to hire include FedEx, First Merchants Bank, Indianapolis Airport Authority, Lowe's, and many more. For more information, go to indianablackexpo.com. Let's look at our forecast right now. It is Friday. It is feeling like football weather out there, Todd. A beautiful day, and we have sunshine that helps warm me up a little bit. But what can folks expect the rest of the day?
You know, it is the cool afternoon, and that breeze makes it feel even cooler. You know, yesterday, Lauren, we were up to 80 degrees, probably about 15 degrees cooler today. But as you mentioned, great football weather for all those high school games later on this evening. And it'll be great football weather for any college or the Colts game on Sunday that's taking place across the area. Here's the view across IU, and you can see just a few fair weather clouds out there, but we have that north wind at 15 miles per hour. 62 is the current temperature, but look at the humidity. The air is so dry. The humidity is only at 46%. And it's that north wind that's preventing these temperatures from warming a whole lot across the area. 59 in Peru, as well as Tipton. 65 is the current temperature in Bloomington, and 63 is the reading over in Columbus. And with that north wind, we're not going up much more for your high. Only about 66 degrees the high temperature here in Indy, but it's going to feel probably closer to 60 degrees if you are going to be out and about this afternoon. And highs in northern locations probably just barely above 60 degrees there in Peru, just a little bit warmer to the south in Bloomington. With that said, it's not a bad day. We have the sunshine. It's just a little cooler than it should be for this time of year. High pressure is firmly in control, and with the clockwise flow around that area of high pressure, that's why we're dealing with those north winds. But as this high kind of slides right on top of us overnight tonight and then throughout the day tomorrow, the winds will start to subside here once the sun sets and we get into the evening hours. So that should make for a nice Friday football forecast for all the high school games this evening. If you're not heading to high school games and you're just heading out on the town maybe for dinner, especially if you're going to be on a patio, you're going to want to have the jacket. Notice as soon as the sun sets how quickly we fall back down into the 50s across the area. 57 by 9 p.m., down to 54 by 11 p.m. And then look at the temperatures overnight tonight. Tomorrow morning will be the coolest morning in our extended forecast, but 39 in Muncie, 37 in Peru, 40 in Lafayette, about 44 here in the city. But because northern locations are going into the 30s, the National Weather Service out of northern Indiana, which forecasts for our northern counties, places like Monticello, over into portions of Peru, down into Marion, Hartford City, over into the Jay County area, you are under a frost advisory, and that includes all counties to the north, as you see there. So it's a chilly start to our weekend. On Saturday, temperatures are going to be right around where they're going to be today. The difference is not as much in the way of wind on Saturday. So that 66 is going to feel a little bit better than Sunday, up to 72 degrees. We keep the sunshine going into next week. In fact, we feature a warm-up each and every day. After we get past tomorrow, it's going to be a little bit warmer. And by Wednesday and Thursday, we're back up to 80 degrees. But notice the low temperatures there, Lauren. We're still going to be in the 40s every night until Wednesday, when we get back up to 53 degrees. So it's cool and comfortable throughout the overnight hours, and then pleasant with sunshine in the afternoon. So I think you can finally give those air conditioners a break here across the area as we have this nice stretch of fall-like weather.
All right, Todd, looking forward to it. Thank you so much. Well, he was a prolific writer, but he will always be best known for creating Forrest Gump. Winston Groom published the novel in 1986, but it became an institution when the movie was released in 1994 and won 6 Oscars, including Best Picture. Groom says he never minded the filmmakers making some subtle changes to his novel, but he always says that he envisioned Forrest Gump as a John Goodman type role rather than the role that won a Best Actor award for Tom Hanks. The mayor of Fairhope, Alabama, says that Winston Groom died Wednesday night at his home in that city. A cause of death was not released. He was 77 years old. We may be able to have a beer with your biscuits at one restaurant very soon. Next, we'll show you where booze and breakfast may be coming together very soon. We'll have that story and another check of your forecast. You're watching the news at noon right here on WRTV. Welcome back. So if you've ever wanted a little bubbly alongside your biscuits and gravy, you might be getting your wish soon. Cracker Barrel used beer and wine to help draw people back into its dining rooms when some of them reopened. Well, now Cracker Barrel is expanding its boozy breakfasts and dinners and says it should be in all 600 of its locations within a year. Since Cracker Barrel is a popular brunch spot, you may guess its most popular adult beverage. Yeah, it's the mimosa, which you can get in both orange and strawberry flavors. Sounds pretty good, Todd. I'm already hungry for lunch now, just talking about Cracker Barrel.
I know. I can go for those chicken and dumplings or those grilled chicken tenders. Always so good. All right. Outside right now, lots of sunshine, a little breezy, making that high of 66 today, feeling a little bit cooler. 66 tomorrow, but not as windy. That's the good news. And then as we work our way into the next week, a nice gradual warm up with sunshine.
All right, Todd, thank you. And thank you for joining us. We hope you have a great weekend.